Hey, everybody. Thank you so much for coming to join us. This is the very first judging of Photography Lockdown. We're doing it live on YouTube. It's very challenging. It's very scary. I'm not good with tech. You would not believe the problems we had. I had, because I can't ask my tech guy to come and help. Yeah, I just need to turn that around. So there we go. I was being distracted by another screen. Sorry, guys. So it's so great of you to come. I really, really appreciate it. Thank you, all of you. Now, we've got a really, really cool judge here, and we were both completely blown away by all of your images. It's like, wow, you've really pushed the boat out. And so here we go. I'd like you to introduce you to multiple Pulitzer Award-winning photojournalist and RFK award-winning photojournalist, amongst many other things, yoga teacher, cool guy, loads of fun, Estres. Welcome, Estres.
Hey, Mikey, how you
Hey,
doing?
I'm all right, honey. I call him this because he gate crashed one of my workshops at Exposure in the United Arab Emirates in Sharjah, and I gate crashed his street photography workshop. I don't know, some stupid joke about it. He left the room and said, I got to go do the washing. And I told everyone that's why I married him. And it's just kind of stuck.
That's right. We've been married ever since.
Some pretty amazing pictures have been posted, would you not say?
Oh my God, when you said, "Could you judge this for me?" I say, "Yeah, sure. How hard can that be?" I had no idea of the quality of work and the amount of good photos that were gonna pop up. This has been quite a task to go through them. It's been entertaining, and the creativity of people really blows me away. And it's very humbling too, because a lot of times we professionals we make the mistake of thinking that we know it all, and maybe we don't say it, but in the back of our minds we do. But then we see what amateurs, aficionados, just creative people do, and it's like, whoa, take my hat off to you guys. You did great on this one.
It really is amazing. And it's like, those of you who've been around my stuff for a while, I'm always saying, look, you don't have to go somewhere amazing. People are saying, I wish I had gorgeous scenery, or I lived in the forest, or I lived XYZ, or I had fields of wildebeest sweeping majestically across the plains. Look, these pictures were just taken in people's kitchens. You don't need somewhere special to go. Now, I realize there's a little hole kind of in my thinking here, maybe in the obviously the level of photography. Some of you guys, you don't need one of my online courses, but they're very, very inspirational images. And those of you that maybe struggled with this a little bit, this is where you can really build. This is a really difficult time for all of us. We're all locked down. We can't go away. And I have so many messages from you guys saying, oh, if only I had time, I'd do it. And if only, well, you probably have got the time now. So I'm going to ask you, instead of investing money in another lens and sitting there drooling over all the cameras you see on eBay, just invest a little bit of time and money and effort into you, because you have seen what can be achieved just in a kitchen. And I think as this challenge moves on, um, yeah, but as of you, Estres, so for those of you who don't know you, do you want to say a little bit about you, your thoughts on photography, your thoughts on going about a challenge like this?
Well, uh, my background is
Excuse me,
newspaper
guys, I need
photography.
to find my glasses. I got the wrong glasses. I can't see. Hang on. You
Okay.
talk, Estres, while I look for glasses.
Okay, so my background is with newspapers, and at least in the United States, when it comes to newspapers, a newspaper photographer needed to be a jack of all trades. You needed to be good at street photography, at portrait, at news, at food, at fashion, anything and everything. So at some point, I remember being stuck in a kitchen photographing items for some assignment about cool designs in the kitchen, or having been in the studio with kitchen items trying to create the kind of cool designs that a lot of you guys created for this challenge. So I am not a generalist. I'm sorry, I'm not a specialist. I am a generalist. It sounds a bit weird when people ask me what do you specialize in. I usually tell them I am photography. Anything that has to do with photography, I'm game, because I love it, just as you guys enjoy it, and we're passionate about it.
Photography is photography.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like photography doesn't happen in the camera. Photography happens in the eye and the heart and the mind of the person who's using the camera.
Oh, you're
It's
such a poet.
I'm just a lovely guy. I know. But it is. It's like photography begins in here and it comes out through. Yeah, there's a handful of controls on a camera we need to know how to use, but it's not the camera. Cameras don't take pictures, people take pictures.
To the audience out there, what he's saying sounds so beautiful because he's got that accent, right? With that accent, he can tell you anything, and it would just sound great. I happen to agree with this one, but don't pay too much attention to the accent.
Can you imagine what it's like when we gate crash each other's workshops? By the way, guys, when this moves on later on, we're going to be running a workshop out in Ecuador when everything calms down a bit. And I think it's going to be a blast. You know, you've got an
Yeah.
amazing multiple award-winning photojournalist. And on the subject of awards, it's like, Estres, I was blown away by your RFK award. Do you want to tell us about that? I'm just going to pop it up on the screen so people can see it while you're talking.
So the Robert F. Kennedy, the full title is Robert F. Kennedy International Photojournalism Award. I earned that many years ago. I follow the journey of a 14-year-old boy, child, basically, who was being smuggled into the U.S. And once he crossed the border, he was stuck in the back of a van with 17 other people. And while they were taking the back roads, at some point, the guy was too tired. He'd been driving for like 14 hours. He missed the one turn in the middle of a straight and narrow shot, and the van just turned over many times. And two of them died: the 14-year-old boy and I think an 18-year-old boy. And I was tasked by my newspaper editors to actually document this whole ordeal. The community of our local church gathered some money, and they decided they were going to send the body back to the little village in Guatemala where the kid was from. And I happened to follow the body from when it left Denver to Guatemala, hung out in the warehouse basically area of the airport while the casket sat there, and the father sat outside of a fence while paperwork was being done. And I sat with the father for hours, and we finally came to the casket together, and they opened the casket for him. It was a very bizarre situation where you could see the world going by behind us, but it actually was all about this one father looking into this casket, and he had not seen his kids for many years. The body was a little bit decomposed, so they had not fully embalmed it. And so when they opened it and he looked at it, he didn't react. Then he stuck his hand on the side of the casket, and I couldn't see what he was doing. So I leaned forward, and then I saw him touch the hand of the body, and then he broke down and he just started crying. And you could tell at the moment it hit him, this is my child that died. Later on, I talked to him and I asked him, I'm sorry, what was it that you were looking for? He says that when his kid had been like 5 years old playing soccer, he broke his pinky finger and he got never set back in place, so it healed, bent. So when he reached for the hand and he felt the bent finger, he knew that was his kid. So after spending hours at the airport, then it was an overnight vigil in the city of Guatemala City, and then next day we spent all day on the road. They put the casket on the back of a pickup truck, and then we got to a tiny village. Then the local guides. By the way, by now I've been going on for like 48 hours, no sleep, just paying attention to this. So I'm my body's taking the whole thing is taking a toll on me, and I'm pretty tired. So here come after an hour after we arrived in this village, the men from the village came down and they put the casket in their shoulders. It was in a big brown box. And, this guy's what normally would take you and I 2 hours to hike. This guy's normally doing 45 minutes. And because they were holding a casket in their shoulders that weighed like 500 pounds, it took him an hour. So I try to keep up with him. And at some point I am across a valley, and the village is atop the mountainside, and I'm going to cross the valley, and I have this other shot that is not here, where you can see the valley, you can see the path, and you can see all the villagers, and at the front of the villagers you see the casket being carried, and on the top there are people in the village waiting. And I have that photo, and when I took the photo, when people see that photo, it's like, wow, you're so intelligent, you thought so well, because you actually decided to wait in order to get this perspective. No, not really. My body had quit. I was convulsing. I was throwing up. I was beyond exhaustion. I'm leaning against the tree after just threw up, and I look across and I see this scene, and I just pick up my camera with one hand and just shot away while I'm just trying to regain my composure. And I got those shots, breathed in a bit, and then I ran. And by the time I got up, they had already opened the box, and they had the casket inside the hut where the kid was grown. And the photo that you're looking at is that moment when the whole village came around. And it was it was the first time in my life when I realized that I had an amazing photo. The moment I took the photo, I knew, like, wow, this transcends the moment.
And And sorry to interrupt, Estres. I just sort of jump in here as well because it's like, guys, this is kind of like where this comes from. There are many stories about what photojournalists are like, but it's like you really do have to work on the run, don't you? You have to work on the fly. But also, there's a huge investment of you into the people, the time you spent with the father. Because my question was going to be, how do you walk into a situation like this picture where the light's bouncing off everything and you've got this incredibly powerful emotional moment? How do you walk into that? And I think you've already answered the question.
Well, yeah. By the time I got there, I'd already spent 3 days with the family, the father, and as a matter of fact, when I came in and they already had the casket on display, I didn't know what to do. I wanted to get closer to it, but I didn't want to be rude. Such a private moment, and the father kind of looked at me and he called me over, and they kind of made space for me so I could be right by the casket, and that was a place of honor, and I think as visual storytellers, whenever people let you into their life, especially in those private moments, those painful moments, you have to be respectful and you have to try to do your best job, your best work, because they deserve it.
I completely agree with you. So, guys, this is a kind of like a little bit that goes into the world of a photojournalist. And Estres really is a master here. So, look, I would invite you all, please ask questions, post questions in the feed. We've got Emma on the other end. I'm looking into my other laptop here next to me, and Emma's the other end. She's going to be harvesting your questions and feeding to me. I'm sorry I can't answer you directly from the feed. It will just take too long. It's going to be too difficult. But so what we've done, we've had a look through all your pictures and agonized. Esdras especially agonized. What you guys don't know is he sent me some photos on his phone of pages of notes that he was making about the pictures, and it's like and really thank you, man, for taking it so seriously. It's I think people are going to be
Trust me,
touched that you really
I,
have put a lot of effort
I
into
thought it
this.
was I thought it was going to be a lot easier when I started going through the photos, and I'm like, oh my God, this is really good. And I thought it was going to be a quick thing that I could do in 45 minutes. No, by the time I sent you that, I think I sent you 8 pages, about 30 names and photos on each page. And I had made a note because I'm old school. I like to still write down because that keeps it in my mind. But you guys did amazing. You guys really went out, and your creativity was in full show. And some of the technical photos, they were beautiful. The designs, the graphic designs in some of the photos, and the colors were so amazing. As a matter of fact, yesterday when I finally sent it back to Mike, I think I sent you a total of 60 images. And
Yeah,
Mike is
so
like,
like
no.
here we go. So here we go. I said to Esdras, we can have one winner, we can have 5 runners up, and then let's just choose a few that you think is worthy of having a chat. Those pictures there where someone's obviously tried hard, they've thought hard, but it hasn't quite made it. And we want to encourage you guys because this is a great time for you to practice, to learn, and as I said earlier, we don't get despondent. You're looking at some amazing images that we're going to see in a moment and discuss. But if you're not at that level yet, you can be. And I don't want you to see this as like, I'm not going to bother. How can I compete with that? That's one place you could go. But look, another place you can go with this is how can I get there? Okay, let's put some effort into this. Now I know that I can help you. Okay, it's a given. I've done it for lots of people, as has Estres, with his workshops and things. But it's like you can do this, and we want to empower you, not make you feel at all down in any way. Estres, do you want to try and get your screen ready with
Sure.
some pictures, and
You
then
want me to put the discussion ones up, I'm assuming?
yeah, let's get the discussion ones on your screen, and then I'll bring it up bigger, and
Okay.
we can have a proper chat about that.
Okay, let's see. Okay, here we go.
But it has been pretty amazing what you guys have been doing. So right, we're
First
nearly
image.
there. Hang on, here we go. I'm just about to share them with everyone. Here we go. So this is our first in a little bunch of images we just wanted to discuss with you because we love so many. Andrew Saunders, what a cool shot. What a cool shot. Esdras, speak.
Andrew, you rocked this image, man. You kicked it out of, you just hit it out of the park. And the only reason why this photo didn't win is because there were so many good entries, and it was tough competition, and it was a tough choice not to pick this photo. Look, I don't mind the Dutch angle, the slanted angle. I don't have a problem with that. If I were to tell you what would have made this photo better, in my appreciation, to make it the sole winner, is the human brain is wired to pay attention to bright spots. So if you look at your photo and you squint at the photo, you're going to notice that the top left corner is the brightest spot in the corner. Therefore, that means that the brain of the viewer, the eye of the viewer, will always be distracted. That's what I call a point of escape. Now, the other thing here is I wish you would have gotten a little bit lower on the kid in the foreground, so he occupied more, or he or she occupied more of the space. And but I love the moment you capture in the back of the little girl just lying on top of the counter. I myself am kind of concerned about this girl not falling from the counter, but other than that, this is really an amazing photo, and you should be very proud of it.
Absolutely.
Mike? Mhm.
Sorry, guys. Sorry, I was on my other laptop trying to. It's really tricky doing this, doing the techie stuff and trying to talk. But yeah, I
You want me to
totally
go to
agree
the
with
next one?
Estres. I mean, from my point of view, I think maybe the Dutch tilt, the tilt is maybe a little too much. I don't know, but it still works. And yeah, I'm sorry you didn't get into the points here, but yeah, as Estres said, it's just there were some amazing pictures in there. Really great shot. Really cool,
Yeah,
beautifully done. I
be
think
proud of your
black and
shot.
work.
Be very
Be
proud of
proud.
it.
I think black and work well works well. The composition is really cool. I love the kitcheniness of it. You know, you touched on the whole thing about the heart. You know, you with your kids there, and they're looking really cute, especially the little one lying on the top there, sort of staring at you. It's just
Mm.
really cool. Thank
Yeah,
you very
really nice,
much
very
indeed,
nice.
Andrew, for that.
Let's go to
And
the next.
let's have a look at the next one.
Mike, you start on this one.
It's just didn't know what this was. He can't
Well,
help it. He can't
we
help it.
have to put the caveat out here. This is not that common here in the States where I live. So when I first saw this out of the bunch, I'm like, what the heck is this? This is this orange, and I don't know what it is. And then he's like, no, no, this is very, very common in the UK. You know, it's the tea bags in a corner. I'm like, oh,
Yeah,
I get it
exactly.
now.
I
I
mean,
get it.
certainly for those of you who are not British or spent much time here in the UK, it's like every kitchen. There's a somewhere near the sink where the taps are. There's going to be a little pile of tea bags. It's just the most British thing in the world, and it is. I totally get this. The heart of the kitchen is where people sit around, they drink tea, they chat, they talk. You know, and I just thought this was such a brilliantly clever interpretation, and I really like the shot. I like the colors. It's gentle, it's soft, and I like the spoon, and it's like, what could we have done to improve on that? From my point of view, I think maybe just compose a little to the left and maybe change the angle very slightly, because as Estra said at the last shot, the thing people notice the most is that highlight. And maybe it's a little bright, it's picking up a light from somewhere. Now I get it. You're in a kitchen, you haven't got all this stuff. You know, this is really cool. But Sally, I think you really nailed it. It's a great idea. Maybe experiment with some different angles, some different ways of looking at it, some different ways of approaching it, but it's really cool. Estres, what do you think?
No, I agree with everything you said. We love the softness of it. It gives you a kind of a warm feeling. The and But yeah, it is that bright highlight of the spoon that is throwing me off. I think if you would have worked the scene a little bit better, just walk, go around it. Wherever or whatever I'm shooting, I have a mantra that I go by that is keep shooting, keep moving, keep adjusting, keep shooting, keep moving, keep adjusting. So I think if you would have kept working the scene, eventually you would have found the perfect composition where such highlight would not have been as bright. But this is really cool. This is definitely a cultural telling moment of sorts that had to be explained to me, but now I get it. I get it. I
Mm,
get it.
it is
Good
a
job,
very
Sally Evans.
great job, Sally. It is a very British thing. I just saw a question come in from the side here, and I'm not supposed to be doing this. Emma's going to kick me because she's meant to be feeding me questions. But somebody just asked, why is it called a Dutch tilt? Any idea, Estres? Because I've no idea.
That is a great question. That was taught to me when I went to college. It was one of my photo books, and I just took it face value. But because of this question, I will make it a point to never, ever not know this answer. I apologize.
Don't apologize.
I'm
Don't
sure it
ever
has to do with the
apologize.
Dutch masters. It has to do with the Dutch masters of painting and impressionism and something along those lines, because a lot of the basis of photography comes from those times. So, but I'll look it up. Great question.
Okay. Anyway, moving on to the next one. Great job, Sally. Really love it. Keep rocking the boat. Keep pushing it because, if you don't get into the points this time, who knows? You might get into it next time. Great job. So, who have we got here? We have
Annette
got
Vaughn.
Annette Vaughan. Sorry, I've got the other glasses on again. So, it looks.
So
Go
this
on,
this is
Estres, you
one that Mike
speak.
and I actually yeah, this is one that Mike and I actually talked quite a bit about it because it's great creativity going on here. The fact that they use the Annette took the time to put a blue gel in there, makes that orange container of liquid inside pop, but the same issue as before. Your eyes will always be drawn to the highlights. So even though this is a photo of what about the content and the feel of inside the fridge, actually all I can see the distraction of the reflection of the overhead light and the metallic door. So the way to have better this composition was to actually go a little bit closer to the open door, open it a little bit more, so you get rid of so much metallic surface on the right, and just tighten the shot. Great way of seeing, but again, it's those bright highlights that are throwing me off on this one.
It is a great way of seeing, and it is, someone's put a lot of effort into this, Annette, you have a blue gel or something you've done in the kitchen to do it, but it's a real commercial looking shot, and it's a great effort. It really is. Let's have a
Yeah,
look at the
good job,
next one.
good
And
job.
guys, keep your questions coming, please. Questions for Estres. This is a great opportunity for you guys to put questions to Estres. So when we've been through this and we've then been through the runners up and we've announced the winner, this is your chance. Please, please, please put some questions in now. Don't wait till we get to the question and answer bit because we may not be able to harvest them. Emma is picking them up and she's feeding to me now. But come on, guys, get your questions coming in. Let's really make this rock. Use this opportunity to talk to, a serious master out there in the world of photography. So yeah, Robert.
And to me too. So, because when he's saying a serious master, he's talking about himself.
Well, obviously.
Mike.
Well, yeah,
Um,
it's nearly.
so,
I'm nearly as cool as your gold sunglasses, man.
so this next photo is by Robert Knapp, and it's rhubarb pie. Let's start with the fact that I immediately want to eat this. Therefore, this is a great food shot, and the fact that he caught that rainbow is really, really cool. But Robert, look at this photo, squint, and look at the bright spot you left in the right top corner. That is the textbook case of an escape point. My attention is being drawn up there. So what you needed, and also the bright spot right by where in the middle. So again, you found an amazing subject. You did an okay job. It could have been great had you changed your angles. Like I would have been curious to see how this would have looked if you shot it straight from above. So now we're looking at the circle of the rhubarb pipe with a rainbow crossing on top of it, and then the rainbow going towards the top right corner of the frame. Great find, great try. Just needed to work the angles on this one.
There's nothing I can add to that. Absolutely perfect. But yeah, and I totally get the thing about wanting to eat it. If
Yeah, right.
the great photos, in my opinion, are ones that provoke a bit of a reaction, an emotion, a feeling, something like that. And it does. This really feels warm and kitcheny on a sunny day somehow. Maybe it's a winter's day. I'm making up a story in my mind. It's a winter's day and the sun's coming through the window and there's a lovely warm pie which looks delicious. Love that kind of rainbow thing, and the light coming across
Yep.
it. Really great effort, Robert.
Good
Really
shot.
great. Really great. Nicely done. Just
Uh,
maybe a tiny movement to the right, a tilt of the camera, something, a tiny movement. And I
something,
think,
yeah.
but again, this is all subjective. You might think, you know what, maybe you've got that version and you looked at it and thought, nah, I like the little bit of window in the corner. It says where the light's coming from.
Oh,
This
Mike,
is
you just brought a great point, which is the average photographer is a very bad editor. We tend to fall in love with our creations, and we cannot be objective about it. So it does help when someone else helps you pick the right frame. My whole career has been filled with great editors who have, taken me down and say, nope, I don't care if you love that photo. That is not the photo. This is the photo. And 99% of the time, they were right. So you need to divest yourself emotionally when you make these decisions and look at it from an outsider's point of view and with a critical eye. If you have any doubt whatsoever that your photo has the impact that you think it has, trust me, the people looking at it that don't know anything about the scene will have that doubt multiplied by 10. Look for
Absolutely.
editors.
Very true.
All right.
Absolutely.
Next one.
Yeah, let's go look at the next one. Guys, I'm seeing a few more of your questions are coming in now. Please keep them coming. There's some really cool questions actually being addressed directly to you, Estres. And guys, really, this is a great
Okay.
opportunity to do it. We loved this, didn't we?
I know. We were trying to figure out a way how to put this at the very end of the show of this whole event, because I think this is funny. This is hilarious. This is a guy who definitely thinks outside the box. By the way, so Mike had to explain to me that in the UK it's very common to have the washer and dryer near your kitchen. That might not be the case here as much in the States. So I'm like, what does this have to do with the kitchen? But then once he explained, I got it. So kudos for this guy to trying this from inside. But I think it's worth mentioning. But I think it steps a little bit outside of the realm of what happens in the kitchen per se.
The heart of the kitchen, yeah. But nonetheless, it's like, nice one, Stephen. Great thinking outside of the box. I love the way you've kind of got your hand in there. And I'm intrigued kind of by the light as well. How's that light working? Is it coming from outside and bouncing around on the stainless steel drum of the washer? But whatever it is, it's just really cool, you know? This is what set me on fire, is seeing you
Yeah.
guys thinking and seeing. You're seeing your homes anew,
Good scene. Great
using
scene.
this opportunity to see your homes in a new and different way. And that's what photography is all about. And, you know. Anyway, shall we move on to the
Cool.
runners-up, Estres?
Yes. So
So we may
runners
have a
up.
little bit of
Okay,
screen
guys, bear
messing
with me.
around. Bear with me. He's doing a
Right.
cool job.
Okay, here we go. Here we go. There we go. That's it.
You know,
Runners up.
the runners-up. So,
This,
are we at the end? An end, doesn't matter.
I don't know.
Have a check,
An end.
Estres.
We're
Just
at an
check.
end. Don't think of, no, actually, this is the first one I have. So don't think of this are in any specific order. This runners up are all pretty good by themselves. So there's no 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here. These are all good in the same level. So let's start with Christopher Clark. You want to start, Mike?
Yeah, I mean, it's a really cool it's a really cool image. It's just really great. It's a great composition. It looks so commercial brochure. It looks so high end, you know, advertising property shot. And who knows, some of you know, maybe you are, maybe you're a professional photographer, I don't know. But it just looks really, really cool. And I love the way you've used the taps to frame the coffee pots and all the rest of it. I'm quite intrigued by the light. Now, I don't know whether you created this light in camera or in post-production. I don't know. What do you think, Estres?
Actually, we could be looking at several different sources of light. Maybe what's closer to us is daylight. That's why it's kind of looking cool and blue. And maybe what's further down might be incandescent light, and that's why it's looking that way. I don't really think there was a light thrown here. Oh, it could be that there's a flash being thrown from where we're looking at the photo, because I see a flash in there. But I think what I really like about this image is the fact that it seems like every space within this frame has a reason for being there. Like if I had to crop this image as an editor, all I would do is I would come in from the right-hand side and I would cut that bright spot on the end of the first faucet, just so my eye's not distracted on that. So the edge ends in dark in that area. But other than that, this is beautiful. I love the stacking up. He calls it a cuppa. Might be a Aussie thing. Yeah. But it's great composition. I really, really like the composition. Cuppa. Right?
It
Is
is.
that a coffee thing? Yeah, it's got to be.
I can't read it from
And
here.
my
I
morning
really can't.
cuppa.
It's the
Yes,
wrong
yes.
size.
I use them both with my friend, the constituent parts of my morning cuppa along the length of our island bench. So yeah, but good job, man. Great job. Really, you did well on this one.
Yeah, it's really cool. It's beautifully done. And guys, you know, those of you who are in the beginning of your journey, again, don't think to yourselves, I can't compete with this. It doesn't matter. You know, every week we're going to be picking out some stuff. Some of you guys who, you know, you are at the beginning of the journey. We all start at the beginning. Estres, was there a time when you picked up a camera and you thought to yourself, "Whoa, how the hell do I do this?"
Oh God, it seems to me like my first 6, 7 years of my career were all about that. And I kept getting frustrated because it almost felt to me like I was never good enough compared to the people that I was working with. In my case, I got very lucky because I worked with a bunch of very talented photographers that were never selfish with their knowledge. And eventually I started asking a lot of questions, and they would explain to me, this is why I chose this angle, this is why I chose this composition, this lens, da, 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 da. And little by little, all this information keeps piling up in your brain until eventually it coalesces into something that makes you a great photographer.
Absolutely.
So yeah, don't despair. Don't despair. So
Everybody
let's move on.
begins somewhere, and it's just a little bit of practice. I love that shot. I love that shot. I really, really love that shot. I love all of
I know.
them. I love all of you guys.
I think if Mike would have been judging this one, he might have gone with this one because he has not stopped talking about it. Every time we ran through it, I love that shot. I love that shot. He
It's
said it
just
to me
really cool, Tim.
over and over again. Yeah, no, it has great texture, and this is the kind of frame that I want to look at it and I want to analyze it and I want to spend time trying to figure out what's going on here. And even though I think this is just straight on some natural light, the warmth of it, the textures of it are really, really cool. And as I always say, as a photographer, the worst thing that can happen to you, no, the best thing that can happen to you as a photographer is to be ignored when you're taking photos. You don't want people to pay attention when you're taking photos. The worst thing that can happen to you as a photographer is once you make the photo, you do not want people to ignore your photos. And this is the kind of photo that cannot be ignored because you will look at it. It's like, oh, what is that? I want to get closer. I start seeing little details in the seats in the middle, and it's a really cool shot. I love the textures. I love the colors. It's good. I love it. Love it too. Yeah, yeah.
I love the light as well. You got this very soft light, and it's just beautiful shadows and shapes and textures and colors, and it's a lot of work's gone into that. It's beautifully done, Tim.
Mm-hmm. And again, and think about this photo, technically there's nothing complicated about it. This is just a proper exposure. I mean, I tend to shoot my stuff very dark, very contrasty, because I don't spend that much time in post-production. That's not me. I rather shoot on site, in situ, as closer to the end result as possible. So to me, this is a bit overexposed, but that doesn't mean that it's bad. I would have just shot it a little bit darker so the blacks were a little bit purer, so the contrast would have popped right away. But it's a great composition.
Totally, and this is where you can't please all the people all the time, guys. When you think, will someone like my picture or not? You cannot please everybody all the time, because it's like you've just heard Estres say he'd shoot a little darker. He likes the shadows a little darker. I like it because the shadows are not darker, and that doesn't mean he's wrong and I'm right, or vice versa.
Or that Mike is wrong.
Exactly. We cannot please all the people all the time, and you need to remember this, because
and keep in mind.
Sorry, Estres, carry on.
Oh no, I said keep in mind that Mike is saying this because it is his show and I have to accept it. No, I'm just kidding.
I wasn't listening. I'm sorry, Estres. I was looking at something on my other screen coming in, but
no, I was saying that you're saying this, that I'm not wrong and that you're not right either. Is that you get to say this because this is your show, but we're just kidding around. The point is, you have your own vision, and photos start in your brain. Photos go through your eyes. So please, this photo could compete with very well seasoned photographers, and I don't know how much experience this person has, but this is a good photo that can stand its ground pretty much anywhere. So, want to move to the next?
I mean, this is the kind of thing you'd actually see it in a frame in a kitchen, wouldn't you? Yeah, go to the next one. Go to the next one. Let's do it.
Yeah. Okay. Now this one, it's all about the feel of a welcoming kitchen, the warmth of it, the subdued light, the sun just peeking in through the window, and the garden outside. This felt like, okay, this is where the heart of the kitchen is. This was good. And the little, if you can imagine, you can create it. It's very cool. Everything in here kind of works. Mind you, by the way, when you finally see the winner, I have to tell you that I chose based upon my own likings, because there were too many that I like and I had to choose the one. But because of my background is in photojournalism, storytelling, street photography, travel photography, I will always go with the ones that have people. And you'll see why we're talking about. But these are great shots.
Madelina, I mean, yeah, exactly. Madelina, I don't know if you're watching this. If you are, please put something into the live feed, into the comment. Emma, watch out for it. I want to know, are you a home cook? Because that's what I get when I look at this. I get that this person is passionate about maybe growing their own produce and cooking it. Now, I'm making up a story again. I could be so far off. I don't know. But the photo is evoking a story and a feeling. We have got the darker shadows. We got, the view into the garden, you can't quite see what's going on, and that's really cool because it makes it a mystery, but it is just so very simple. But also that fantastic use of light, not being afraid to shoot straight into the sun. It's like
Hmm.
backlight. The trickiest light is nearly always the light that is the hardest, the light that's coming towards us. Estres's photo, look at the high contrast light in Estres's shot that we were talking about earlier, with the coffin and that crazy light bouncing around. But that is often what leads to the most dramatic images, I would say. I think it's a great job. I really, really do, Madelina. Well, yeah.
One last thing about this photo is that I feel like looking outside this window, I would get a glimpse of the secret garden. Like there's some fairies and elves. It's magical. That's the word that I'm looking for. To me, this shot is very magical. It's
Yeah,
great storytelling. What shot?
it is completely. And
Cool.
again, guys, look, this is not technically difficult. This isn't a shot that's involved loads of lighting equipment and fancy lenses and all the rest of it. This is just seeing and understanding maybe the 5 controls on a camera that you need to know, which, I'll talk about that when we come out of here. But yeah, really great shot.
Cool. Next one.
Yeah, let's
Do we
go
have a
there.
next one here?
We should. I don't know.
Oh
You're the
yeah,
one who started at the end, man.
yeah. Yes, guys. There's no sequencing on on this group of photos right here. Now, sorry about that. I don't know how to. Yeah, there we go. Everybody just saw an announcement that came in through my Facebook. Um, Look at the design on this photo. Somebody took the time to put all these elements together. Look at the colors. Look at the textures. Look at the graphic elements. I really was torn between the photo that I chose as a winner and this one. And I think they're equally, like, if I actually wanted to choose more than one winner, but Mike said no, we cannot do that because it starts to get too complicated. But this one definitely would have been my second winner had I had, how could I have done it? But it's this is awesome to me. This sometimes I'm attracted to very simple, straight on compositions that reads quickly, and this definitely fills this purpose. Very well done. Angela Mead. That's the name of the person who created this. What do
Great
you think,
job.
Mike?
Great job, Angela. It is. It's very striking. It's very eye-catching. It's very graphic. But I like the way you've kind of broken it up with the little round shapes alongside, the straight lines everywhere. It's a great shot. What more can I say? Again, beautiful light going on there. Yeah,
And
really.
it took time to put this together. This very meticulously designed. It's a lot of attention to detail. Very well done. Very,
This
very
is
well
the
done.
thing, isn't it? With nearly all photography, it usually takes anything from say maybe an eighth to maybe a 8,000th of a second to take a photo. But how much work goes on behind the scenes? We only see the tip of the tip of the tip of the iceberg and all the rest of that iceberg, that's hidden under the water, Now, whether it be a very graphic shot like this, because, which has taken a lot of time to put together and maybe to get the light right, I don't know how it's done with a window or however you did it. That's really, really
No, I think
cool.
they used a light here, a flash.
It could be a flash, an
It's a
off-camera
strobe in
flash.
here.
Who
Uh-huh.
knows? Uh, uh,
Yeah.
or whether it's a shot of the kids, lying on top of the machine. The first picture we looked at in the discussion, with the little kids there. It's like how much work went into that, because the shot with the kids lying on the kitchen top, in the black
Happened.
and white, and the little girl there. It's like I doubt that was just a one instant lucky shot. I'm guessing that took the photographer a bit of time watching the kids and what they're doing, and maybe sitting there and spending time with them and investing time with them. There's always the stuff that goes on
Um,
below the surface. We only see the best of the best, the tip of the iceberg.
I will, if Angela is listening to this, I'd be curious to know how long did it take to set this up. I'd be very curious to find that out. So if you're there, please let us know, and please, if you see her, let us know.
Yeah, please. Yeah,
Um,
Emmeline, if you see Angela, so let us know. Actually, I'd love to hear from all of you guys that we've talked about. Forgive me, I've forgotten who it was. The name of the author of the picture of the two kids. The black and white shot in the kitchen. How did that happen? I'd love to share that. Forgive me if
yeah,
you wrote it
behind
in
the
the
scenes, that'd be
description, but
cool.
please pop a little thing in
Yeah.
the comments here. Emma will watch out for it and feed it to us, hopefully. And so are we at the end of
Let me see
the
what's next.
You have a
Oh,
sneaky
that's
look.
it.
Don't
That's
forget,
it on
we
the,
can see
yeah.
your screen, Essdras Suarez.
I know.
So are we now
So the
going
next one
to? Hang on, hang
is
on. Don't do
the
it yet. Don't
winner.
do it yet. Don't do it yet. Don't do it
Yeah, I
yet.
know, I know, I know, I
Hang on,
know,
hang
I
on.
know, I
Here we
know.
go. Right, I am coming back on screen here so that will have the chance. You can now change your screen, Estres. Nobody can see it. And then we will come to the winner with a big ta-da. However, guys, it was a really great job, and I just want to say something while Estres is sorting himself out. Yeah, there's been a lot of comments. I've got half an eye going on about, there aren't pictures in it and all the rest of it. The thing you have to realize with all competitions is it's a personal interpretation of a theme. The theme that we put out also isn't. It's more interesting to get great photography. If you can find a way to get great photography bend to the theme, that's really cool. Okay, and the way you went for competitions, generally speaking, is to find out who's judging it. Actually, that's a sad truth I learned a long time ago. Because we are all, we all go. We're subjective creatures, aren't we, Estes? It's like
We always have a built-in bias. I will always have a preference of a certain kind of photo. That's just because what I like, and everybody has their own likes and stuff. So the fact that I chose the winner photo, I think it's a great photo. I think it's a great moment, and I chose it because I wish I would have gotten that shot. Like that's a shot. Like I wish I would have gotten that shot,
I
and
tell you
that's how
what.
I judge it because I'm always striving for the best, like the most impactful, the most storytelling moment, and to me that photo does that.
I'm going to bring my picture up big. Why don't you change your screenshot around, Estres, and then you bring it up on
Okay.
your screen, and then I will bring it live when you're ready. While
Okay.
you do that, I'm just going to hide him. And the thing is, with this shot, we both, when I saw it initially come in, I thought, yeah, for me, that's the one. That's. I just love that. It just hit an emotion. It really, really did, and I just thought that is just so cool and so amazing. But I never said a word. It's just interesting that Estres chose. I know it's kind of like it's all very subjective. And so, ladies and gentlemen, the winner of the Heart of the Home is the Kitchen Photography Locked Down competition is Mick Marriott.
Meg Marriott photos.
Isn't that just so cool? I love the light and all the. Hang on, I'm not the judge, Estres. You're the judge. You get in there, man. You talk.
Well, so first of all, the photo that steals my heart is the photo where I immediately stop and say, "Whoa, that's beautiful light. That's a beautiful moment." And then the photo does that firsthand right away, which this one did. The how the light hits her little face, and she's so focused on the task at hand, doing those little cupcakes or whatever it is that she's cooking or muffins. But look at a little pinky finger coming up, which is such a dainty little detail. So to me, that this one hit it. Like, okay, this girl is in the kitchen. She's focused on what she's doing. So to me, this best described the purpose, the title of the competition. The heart of your home is your kitchen. And a kid in the kitchen doing what kids do. This stole my heart immediately the moment I saw this photo. So Meg Marriott, bravo, 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 bravo.
I can only second that. It's the same. And again, look at that beautiful light on the face. If you're struggling with understanding how light works, those of you who are kind of, you're on the journey. Look at the light on this picture. When people speak of qualities of light, what they mean is the way the
This
light
is
is
what I'm talking
playing
about.
on the subject. Now look at the little girl's face. The brightest bit of light is on the front of her face, and then it trails off to shade as it comes around the side. That's what's giving it the shape and the texture. That is what Estres was saying earlier on about your eye is drawn to the brightest part, and the brightest part is her face. So we come boom straight in there. Yeah. And then we got that lovely
I
light.
wanna
It's coming from behind. My go. It's coming from behind and it's wrapping around her arms and it's just so appealing. Yeah, sorry, Estres, I bulldozed you.
Oh no, I wanted to also make a point to this. So, if you're going to stick to my theory of the brightest spot being the most distracting spot, you could say, "Oh well, what happens with the window light come in the background?" But this is what happens with photography. A photo could be badly composed, technically wrong. You use the wrong lens, the wrong everything. But if it has a powerful, decisive storytelling moment with it within the frame, that itself trumps everything else. So yeah, if you want to get super technical, oh well, the window light back there is too bright. No, that is completely irrelevant, because you might catch a glimpse of that, but you're always going to go back to the little girl, and you see the blonde little eyelashes popping out when the light hits it, a strand of hair or two in front of her little face, her focus as she's working on her little concoction of food, the way she's holding the little bucket, the pink watch. This is an amazing shot. I can keep going on and on and on about it.
It is. It's
That's that.
beautifully done. It's beautifully done. And Mick, so you are a winner, and I can see you know what you're doing now. As I realized earlier, winning a prize of one of my online courses. Well, yeah, okay, maybe you don't need it, but look, you can gift that. Maybe there's someone in your life who's struggling a bit. Maybe there's someone you know who wants to learn and they never get around to it. Give it to them if you don't need it. But you have a choice of my online courses. Go to our contact page, and this goes for all of you winners. We'll come back to that in a tick. But yeah, congratulations, Mick. That's completely awesome. So Estres, shall we come back?
By the way, this is his daughter.
This is your
This is
daughter,
his 6-year-old daughter. Yeah, really cool, really cool.
And
Okay,
a final
so
thing, where you were talking about, Estres, you just come back to us. That's cool. You just come back.
okay.
I'm going to let everyone watch you do it.
Oh, please.
But yeah, it's a beautifully executed shot. Now, this is not, just set purely for amateur photographers, and there's no way we can police this, even if it was. This is a competition.
This is the real deal.
This is the real deal. This is just an open competition to help you guys stay indoors, stay safe, help the health services not be overwhelmed, and use that time to your benefit. Use it, really, really use it. You want to come and do a course, now is the time for you to do that. Now is the perfect time for you to embark on an online course. And I know I can help you, and I refund the money if I don't. You've got nothing to lose and everything to gain. So yeah, I'm pushing that hard, but hey, I got to make a living too, hey? So I think that was...
Talking about making a living. Hey, now.
Hey.
Actually, so is this where I say? So guys,
right now I want to bring on to something else. Yeah, Estres wants to say, but I want to endorse him before he does this, because
endorse me.
Again, so something which Estres has done. I've been around his training for a while, and he is very, very good. But he is also offering, he's been doing for some time, portfolio reviews. And this is probably a really great time. It takes a bit of effort to put together a portfolio, to have it properly reviewed, where you've got a multiple Pulitzer Award-winning photographer with RFK awards, who has had a lot of work brought into National Geographic magazine, etc. Who better to maybe give you a portfolio review? Estres, do you want to tell folks a little bit about that and how they can do it?
So it's very easy. I'm sure Mike is going to share my contact information. You can just email me, estresmsuarez@gmail.com, or you can go to my Instagram, which is estresmsuarez, and direct message me. You would put your photos in a place where we can both access it. It would be somewhere online, a gallery. We'd get on a phone, Skype, WhatsApp, whatever works for you. That way we can both be looking at the photos at the same time, and we can talk about it. I can tell you my opinion about it. You can give me some feedback, and we can, you need editors. Doesn't this sound familiar to you? You take thousands and thousands of images. First of all, you don't know what to do with all of those images because you're not sure. You get caught up in every single frame. This is going to sound weird, but I can edit, and by editing I mean choosing. I can choose out of 20,000 images, 1,000 images in an hour and 45 minutes because I've done it twice. I can go through frame by frame, 20,000 images, an hour and 45 minutes, and it boils down to 1,000 images. 2005, because the way I've learned to do it is dispassionate about it. I am not only going to tell you, oh, this photo is no good. I'm going to explain to you why the psychology of the brain rejects a photo to be great, or takes another photo and says, oh, that is an amazing shot. If I give you that knowledge base, it becomes part of who you are, and you don't forget that. The things that we memorize, we tend to forget. The things that we learn become part of who we are. They stay with us for the rest of our lives. That's how I teach.
And that is absolutely the way it is. completely the way it is. So guys, yeah, if you want to do that, I will put a link below this video in the description. If you happen to come up and watch it in the archive, I will put a link there. What's the best way to do this, Estres? Because it may be best. We'll talk about this after. We will put something underneath the video, but just putting a raw email address may not be the best way. But if you want to do that, you can always go to the contact page of my website or Estres's. Google Essdras M. Suarez. And you will find the contact page of his. We will figure a way. Sorry, guys, this is a little bit too creatives running around trying to organize
Yeah,
things.
it's the first time we do it, but we're figuring things out. You just need to learn to spell my name correctly. E-S-S, D as in David, R-A-S. Estres M. Suarez. Once you figure that first part, Echo, Sam, David, Roger, Alpha, Sam, you got it.
You got it. He likes you to get his name right. So, guys, let's do a little bit of a Q&A. So Emma has been harvesting some questions. I see we've got a few in there. And guys, keep them coming. This is a great opportunity. If you don't understand anything in decisions made in the judging, if something's got your goat, if you're maybe, excited about something, or you think, well, hang on a minute, what's that all about? This is your chance. This is the time for you to ask the question. I'd love to hear in the comments, I meant to say at the beginning, anybody who's done any of my training or courses or any of Estres's training as well, any of his workshops, please put some comments into the live feed, because I know people read these and will benefit from your experience. You don't feed them to me, just do that, but ask some questions. Let me go find a question. Just keep your questions coming, guys. Oh, look, we got a few. Where are we going? Forgive me, I'm having to dig around.
Are you wearing the right glasses, Mike?
I don't know. Am I in the right building? Who am I? Where did I come from? And how did I get here? The real Jackson asked, is one source of light better than ambient light? Well,
yeah, he's talking about artificial light versus natural light. Yeah.
I
Go ahead,
think
Mike.
you're
You
right.
say your
Yeah.
answer.
I would say, is one source of light better than ambient light? Well, the ambient light is all coming from one source of light ultimately, and that's the sun. Now, how that light is behaving depends on conditions and where you are. So, like, let's say you've got a cloudy day, you've got like a big sheet of tracing paper over your light that you're using in your front room, and it's breaking that light up and smashing it into little droplets. Is it better than another? I would say it's about choosing light that is appropriate to your subject. Some subjects work better with big, deep, hard, heavy shadows, which is what comes from a single source of light, a direct, hard source of light. Whereas some subjects, I think, work better with a softer, more diffuse source of light. Is natural light better than artificial? No, it's just a different look. It's just a different way of using light. It is the skill of the photographer that is important, and in how they use that light appropriately to get across the emotion, feeling, or message that they want to do so. That's what I'd say, Estres.
My answer is a lot easier. There are no absolutes in photography. All that we can offer you are suggestions, and every time you add a new tool into your toolbox, every time you learn something new, a new technique, a new appreciation for artificial or natural light, you put them in your toolbox. And what makes you better is learning to discern which is the best tool to use in this moment, which is exactly what Mike is saying. Understand light, and then it'll be easier. It'll be easier to figure out what is the best light for this specific circumstances.
Absolutely. Understanding light is the key to everything. That's what my courses and lessons are for, to help you do that, because we all have to go through this process. We all have to do it. I've been through it. Estres has been through it. The guys who have won things tonight have been through this process, either on their own or with someone as a guide. We all have to go through that process. Tanwir
Let
Haider
me
is
add one last thing to this.
Yeah.
As photographers, we are slaves to light. Our goal should be that of becoming masters of light.
That is what it's about. Tanwir Haider, is there any technique to be at a good composition? That's like, is there a technique to creating a good composition? I would say, yeah. It's really simple, though. Composition is controlled by arms and legs and hands and knees. It's where you stand. So look, you're looking at me right now, and what you can see is a line coming through my head here, caused by this thing behind me. You don't want that there. Well, all you got to do is move a little bit, move your camera a bit, and do that. Maybe move yourself a bit, right? And things change. composition. There isn't a technique, I would say. It is just you moving. Little tiny, 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 eeny little movements can make a world of difference. Estres.
God is in the details. The exact same thing. A clean composition, a clean background make all the difference in the world. Like the same principle that he's talking about, the background. Look, I have a horizontal line cutting my head. If you are doing my portrait, I expect you to go somewhere where that line is no longer cutting my head. This is me sitting on the floor, by the way. So it goes back to keep shooting, keep moving, keep adjusting. And that's all about you. Keep shooting, keep moving, keep adjusting.
Absolutely so. Absolutely so. Is it, Devsanka Pal, is it okay to have too many highlights in a picture if there were many subjects?
No absolutes.
No
I
absolutes.
mean, if he can make it work, if you can make it work, more power to you.
This is the
But
thing.
I wouldn't. Yeah.
No, okay. This is
Oh
the
no, I
thing.
was going to say is there's no absolutes. I mean, who knows what he's talking about? But it could be just there's a grid and there's a glass and there's some sort of refraction going on in the light, and you have 1,000 beautiful points of light coming through, and they happen to work perfect for that moment. But if you were in a different situation, that might be the worst thing that could happen to you. So there are no absolutes.
Exactly. You're taking a shot, you've got the sea or a river or water, and you imagine a waterfall, you imagine a river that's flooding. Look how many billions of little highlights there are in that. If they weren't there, it'd look weird, it would be wrong, because also people try and remove highlights in post-production and say they're bad, wicked, and wrong, and you should go to jail if you have a highlight. No, there are natural highlights in life. If I just look up here in this room at one of the light bulbs where the little filament in the middle is, that highlight is burnt out. It would look weird if I could see it. So yeah, don't worry about it. Let's move on a bit. Glenn Heskins, what sort of photos would you specialize in if you did not have to generalize? Estres, good question. You're a generalist.
That is a
What would you
great
like to
question.
specialize in?
Yeah, that kind of negates the whole generalist thing. Well, I am of the belief I like street photography and travel photography because we also portrait photography. So to me, street photography taken outside of the context of your familiarity, meaning that if I walk outside my house and there's something going on right in front of it, and I take a photo, that is street photography because it happened there. But if I happen to be on the other side of the world and I make an equivalent photo, all of a sudden that became travel photography. If within the elements of the subjects of the people that are part of that composition, there's somebody whom I find very, very interesting, and I end up focusing on them and getting a great shot of them, that became portrait photography. So to actually try to break it down into different categories does not make any sense to me. But if you want an answer, I would say street photography, travel photography, portraiture.
Absolutely. And yeah, generalism is great. I mean, why do we take photos? I would suggest it's fulfillment. It's like somewhere inside every one of you guys listening to this or watching the replay or who's taken part in the photography lockdown composition, at some level, there is a piece of you, whether you are an advanced winning level photographer or a beginner, that goes, hey, I enjoyed doing that. And I think this is the key. It's a sense of fulfillment, This is the reason behind it. The same rules of photography apply whether you're photographing a waterfall or a plate of food. It's the same thing. It's the same laws of physics. It's just how you apply
Composition,
them.
light, yeah.
Composition and light, where to stand, when to click, the decisive moment. There's a decisive moment when you're doing landscape, when the sun comes out and it highlights the bit of the picture that's most important and it gives you the brightest bit so your eyes drawn there and all of that cool stuff. It's all the same techniques. Let's look for another.
I also think that we as
Carry on,
creative
Estres.
people just have an overwhelming sense of creating, period. That's what being creative is all about. You have to create. You have to let your artistic juices flow. And that's what some people do by writing, other people do with photography, other do it with painting. But we are all artists at heart. And that's what being a creator is all about, being creative, just letting it flow out from you.
A question here from Harshal Mungikar. Is it always required to follow the rule of thirds, or can there be instances when the subject can be at the center? If so, what instances? The problem when we're learning is we want rules and guides all the time. And
Right.
I get it. We do. The rule of thirds is not a rule. It is an idea. It is a guide. It's like if I go, hey, Estres, let's do rule of thirds. Get yourself on a rule of thirds. I'm going to go rule of thirds. Hey, I'm on rule of, hey, this is cute. We're going the same way. I'm going to go the other way because I don't want to go the same way as you. Yeah. Okay, rule
Okay,
of
so
thirds.
here
I'm on a third.
we're
We've
in
got a
opposite
line
directions
here.
now.
We've got a line here, right, where they meet. I'm on a third. Does it make it better than when I'm sitting here? It's just look at it, choose it, think about it. Does it look good? Does it not look good? There are no rules in creativity. There is a rule that says a portrait, you should be looking into the shot. So hang on, let me figure this out because I'm not really good. Okay, so I need to be over here. So a portrait of me would be me looking that way, right? That's the rule. You look into the shot. Well, I disagree. I think it's far more interesting sometimes and edgy when you're looking out to the side here. Rules were there as guides. They're meant to be broken. Just what looks good. Would you not say?
Let me ask. Let me. He's asking for a specific answer.
Mm.
This is a scenario that I can easily think that would apply to his answer. If you are photographing somebody inside a tunnel, and there at the end of the tunnel you can see the exit of the tunnel, and this is a horizontal composition, to put him right smack in the middle, and you see all the concentric lines going into infinity, that's a perfect situation to put someone right smack in the middle. But like always, every situation needs to be judged and acted based upon its own circumstances and needs.
We've just had a message from Madelina with the picture with the book and the magic
Yeah,
garden
yeah,
outside and the light. And Madelina says, "Thank you for your wonderful and kind words." And yes, I am a home cook. You kind of nailed it. You told a bit of your story and
yeah.
your heart in that picture, which I think is really, really cool. There's nothing technically difficult,
Congratulations,
guys.
Madelina.
Yeah, congratulations, Madelina. But it's like there is nothing technically difficult there, guys. Which leads me on to something here. Dolores Ellsworth has asked, "How can someone who really needs your lessons possibly win a competition like this?" I would suggest,
Even
go on, Estres, you speak.
we have a saying, even a blind squirrel finds an acorn every once in a while. The fact that you might not have the knowledge, the complete knowledge of photography, doesn't mean that you do not see great photos. So just by trying it, you a ton to actually learn. Mike has a lot of great courses that teach you that, and all of that is can be part of your base of knowledge, and you just keep getting better and better. But please never ever stop photographing because you think you cannot compete. Forget about contests. Forget about rules. You do this because you love doing it. Don't ever forget that. The moment you lose that je ne sais quoi that children have, the way they see the world and novelty, you're losing part of your creativity. Just keep shooting because you love it. Forget about contests.
Absolutely. This is something for fun to keep you out of mischief during lockdown, yeah? And I think everybody has found this inspiring. I found it inspiring. I've learned so much. I'm trying not to give people answers in the little tutorial videos I'm doing. I'm just trying to give you something, and it's like I look at some of the stuff that's put up, they go, "Oh my God, you see what I put up there is with my little." Yeah. But hey, so what? It doesn't really matter. And the thing is, if you stop climbing the mountain, you will never reach the top of the mountain.
That's
That's
right.
kind of,
One
I
step at a
think,
time.
one step at a time. We've all been on that journey. And I would also suggest, I think the lady's name was Sally, the lady with the shot of the tea bags, which we had to explain, to Estres, a very English thing. I don't know, Sally, if you're watching this and you can do this real quick, I'd really be interested to know what your thoughts were when you saw your picture pop up. Yeah, because it's a really simple picture. It's a really basic thing. There's nothing clever. There is nothing advanced. There is no special composition or work been done there. And yet it's a really beautiful, interesting picture. And you were almost into the points there. Yeah. I'd love to know your thoughts on that if you get a chance. I think your name was Sally. Where are we going? We're getting close to winding it up time, guys. I'm just looking for questions specifically aimed at Estres now. Emily Henvey, Estres, what work did you put into getting your first newspaper photography job? How did you break into the field to get that job?
Okay, so when I was in college, I had an internship with National Geographic. Once I experienced what it was like to work with photographers of that caliber, I knew that that's where I wanted to go. Once that was done, I had another internship with another newspaper, and I really didn't do that well in it, but I learned a lot, and I kept trying and trying, and I kept shooting. I kept trying to step outside of my own situation and think, okay, if nobody's giving me an assignment, what assignment would I like someone else to give me? And then I would actually go and make those photos. So if you think it's like, oh, that's a beautiful park, I wish somebody would pay me to photograph that park and everything that happens there. Why wait for somebody to pay you for it? You are better off starting it on your own. And maybe when you have part of your body of work already ready, you show it to someone, and who knows, it might not be a newspaper, it might not be a magazine, it might be an art gallery, it might be something. So you got to do it because you love doing it. Forget about people having to pay. I know that money is important and all, but hey, go with your passion. And newspapers, yeah, I just happened to have, I had 3 internships before I got my first real job at a newspaper.
Absolutely. Great answer. Any more questions for Estres? There's one here. Estres, do you think black and white has more composure than color? That's from Ken Woodhall.
Doesn't really matter. Because I cannot give you an absolute. Some photos just read better in black and white. Some other photos read better in color. I'll give you a great example. And I feel bad for what I'm about to say, but I love the Washington Post. I've done work for them. And I remember about 2 years ago, near where I live, they were painting a building red. This massive building, maybe 10 stories high. They were painting the building red. Obviously, a photographer for the Washington Post saw it. They made a photo of the guys painting the building in red, and he was going to make for an interesting photo because there's the scaffolding, the people hanging, and the red that they're painting. They ran the photo black and white, and you only knew that it was a red building because they happened to mention that is a case where that needed to be in color, and they completely screwed up. They didn't read, they didn't pay attention. They just filled the hole that the paper needed to fill. So it depends. It depends. There are certain photos that I look at and it's like, oh yeah, this is a phone photo. And people ask me, what do you mean? I'm like, that one is really hard to explain, but look, and I can go ahead and do it, and I'll do it. It's okay. It's a phone photo versus my camera photo. Same principle. Oh, this is a color photo. No, that's a black and white photo. It's when you do it and you practice it, eventually it becomes second nature for you to decide which way to do it. Having said that, I shoot everything in color, and then afterwards I might remove the color. But it's better to have it and not to need it than to need it and not to have it.
One more here. Jim Graves has asked, Estres, is there one photo in your early career that changed your life and made you realize you had taken the right career path?
Oh, that photo of the funeral. That was the first time where it all kind of came into place. The moment I took that photo of the funeral and I saw the faces and the light bouncing, it's like every assignment that I had done in the past up to that point, they all came to mind and said, that's why. As a matter of fact, I remember specifically being, almost on my knees, making that photo of photographing this very sad scene. And then at that point, I remember, oh, that's why I had to cover all these other funerals. I hate covering funerals. I think it's so sad. And my boss used to make me cover a lot of funerals. But had I not covered all those funerals before, I wouldn't know at that moment that was the right moment to take the photo, the right composition. So yeah, that photo was very pivotal in my career.
Absolutely.
That's the same year of the Pulitzer. So it just so happens that they were taking it the same year, or the first Pulitzer.
What do you do? Because Estres can't see what I'm doing, but I just showed them the picture as you were talking about it, Estres. So, and it is such a powerful picture, and I can completely see why that would be like. And this is also for you guys, somebody who asked earlier about, I think it was Dolores. Yes, Dolores. How can someone who really needs your lessons possibly hope to win? Well, you think of all the journey Estres went on before he arrived in that room at that point in time with that situation happening. You think how many millions of pictures and millions of times things didn't go the way you wanted them to go to arrive at that point.
I always tell people I am as good as I am because I have ruined hundreds of thousands, if not millions of frames. But I have learned from my mistakes. So now I just make less mistakes.
Absolutely.
But I still make them.
Was it I can't remember what it was. I think it was it Edison, somebody who invented the light bulb or something, said a really wonderful thing about, they got it wrong like over 10,000 times. And somebody said, why do you keep going? You failed. And he said, no, I haven't failed. I've just found 10,000 ways that you don't do it. These ways, don't bother trying to pursue this. It won't work. And then on the 10,001th, he got it right.
That's right.
10,001st, he got it right.
You hear that a lot from Olympic athletes. They try over and over again, and they keep going back and back, and eventually it does happen. So the worst thing you can do is stop trying.
Absolutely. I just want a quick shout out, Michael Merriott. Thank you for your kind comment. So he just said that he's learned a lot, been on lots of my seminars, and he said, I'm off to buy your course. So thank you for that. Because, hey, we're all struggling a bit, and anybody who can help me, I want to help you. This is a two-way street, and it's the same with Estres. And I really urge you, listen to this guy. You've heard him speak. You think how many millions of photos he's got wrong to help you get it right. Really, go check out his portfolio reviews. I'm going to put a link to the contact page on his website under this, and we will make sure that you're kept up to date. We'll put it into the photography lockdown group as well. I think we kind of come to the end here. Thank you all very much for posting such insightful and interesting questions. Did I see a difficult one? Oh, sorry, there's one here I'd like to ask. Mikey Den Houting, did Estres use all natural light for that photo in the funeral?
When it comes to photojournalism, I really don't use flashes or strobes unless it's completely dark at night. Other than that, imagine in that situation where there's not a word being spoken in that room, all you hear is the people crying. If I would have popped a flash. So trust me, no flash on that one.
Absolutely. It would just be way too intrusive. So
yeah, disrespectful. Yeah.
Terribly disrespectful.
Yeah.
So all that remains really is for me to say thank you so much for putting your time and effort into doing this, into looking at all those pictures. I wish I'd taken screenshots of the notes that he sent me. They're all written out in handwriting and brought them in here. This is one of the world's really good guys. And guys, really, listen to what he says. And I would strongly urge you, if you want someone to review your portfolio, ask Estres. He knows what he's talking about. And he won't BS you, If he thinks, look, this doesn't work, because he will tell you it will be constructive and delivered from the heart.
Yeah, I won't tell you outright I don't like this without a reason. There's a reason I don't like it. I explain to you why, and I'll make you understand why it doesn't work. Also, I wanted to thank your audience. Your followers are amazing. I was really once more blown away by the quality of work and the ton of great photos and your creativity. Kudos to all those people that worked really hard with the eggs and the forks. And there was one to go to the photography lockdown in the sequence that I wanted to talk about. We didn't get to. Is the IKEA, the oil. You remember it? Colorful IKEA. Look for the one that has IKEA. I love that photo. There's some other ones where there's a bunch of eggs stacked up on top of different color holders. That's beautiful. There are some graphic stuff where you can see colors. There's so much good stuff, and they're photos that I remember. They're memorable. That's what you want. You want people to remember your images, and you made your images memorable to me. And for that, I thank you.
Thank you very much, Estres. And guys, if you want to get your images to be memorable and to touch, move, and inspire, I can help you do that. I know I'm banging on about it, but come on, you now have the opportunity to go out, to go buy an online course. You're at home. You've seen the possibilities of just doing stuff at home. This is the time for you to do that thing which you've been saying for so long, I must do this, and you haven't done it. I know I can help you, but you've got to give me the chance to do it. So now we're going to leave it there. We're going to move away, but the next challenge is going to be going live on YouTube and on my website, and we will share it around. The next challenge is coming up.
Is this the one about photographing the toes?
Photographing your toes? No, shut up. Oh, guys, you should have been there when he gate crashed my workshop. It was just so funny.
By the way, in this side of the world, not that there's anything wrong with this. It sounds like I gay crashed your workshop. You're talking gate as in GATE. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but I'm just saying we gate crash each other's workshop.
Gate crashed each other's workshop. I'm getting excited. That's why. So, guys, hang around a minute. I'm going to be putting the next challenge live on YouTube. There's a little video explaining what it is, explaining who the judge is and what they want. Now, remember, you must use the hashtag that we say. It's on screen throughout the next video. You've got to use that hashtag if you want to enter the competition. The competition ends. We do not accept or look at entries which come in after midnight UK time on Thursday, okay? The judge, the poor judge who's got no hair left now, his hair was going all down his back when I met him. He's got a day to make some really hard choices. He or she, I'm looking for female judges, by the way, he or she has got just a day to agonize over your pictures. Those of you who are thinking, how can I cap that? Don't enter to win it. Estres has just said, enter for the pleasure of doing it. Enter for the joy of experimenting. Enter because of the fulfillment you will get when you can look yourself in the eye and go, hey, I didn't win it, but I gave it my best shot. And who knows, we may
That's right.
pick you up, we may get picked up to discuss it, because there are so many pictures we could have talked about them for hours.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm just going to say a final thank you, Estres.
Thank you, Mikey.
You're a gentleman, sir, and thank all of you for being here, for showing up, and for doing it. The next challenge is coming any minute. Take care, everybody. We'll see you soon.
Ciao. Bye.